Good evening, I'm Lisa Broom. This is the CBC Evening News. Long lines at the Barbados Revenue Authority offices today as many people try to pay their solid waste tax. Some of them unaware the initial deadline of July 28th had been extended to the end of December. Ryan Broom has that story.
A combination of Barbadians seemingly unaware of the extension of the deadline to pay the municipal solid waste tax and others trying to pay their road taxes and driver's licenses resulted in long lines and long waiting times. When CBC visited Barbados Revenue Authority locations at Oystons, Christchurch, and the Treasury building in the city, long lines of taxpayers extended beyond the entrances in both cases. Some people who spoke to CBC said they were not aware that the deadline had been extended, while others who wanted to pay road-related taxes expressed concern that there was no separate line to accommodate them.
It is very hard, very, very hard with the tax. Very, very hard. I had to take my national insurance money this morning, and I just come from changing my check, and I had to make it up. It's very hard. It's disgusting. Not even a tin of milk I can't buy out of it.
I can do other business, but look at this line here. What you making go to here? 3 o'clock. Are you still gonna go up? This ridiculous. Completely ridiculous.
This morning when I came here, I came at 8 o'clock. And the sign says that they will start receiving payables at 8:30. At 8:30 I was here and they had no cashiers. I had to leave and go to work. So I went to work and now back at lunchtime, hoping that things would change. I'm seeing a longer line than I left this morning. It's pretty rough. I mean, rough on persons that have to work. We got to go to work, and you can't come and spend all this time here.
I was here a day before, and I come at the same thing because they don't have extra cashiers doing this part of the work. The girls in there still have to do the license and everything else,
Loyal sons and daughters all turned up to pay our municipal waste tax, and that if you really treat us better than this, it should at least be 4 or 5 cashiers instead of just 3. Okay? That would be good. That would help us a lot.
When CBC contacted Revenue Commissioner Margaret Sivers, she deferred comment to the BRA's Communications Officer Erica Lazar. Ms. Lazar acknowledged some people may have been confused about the date change, but said the long lines were a testament to the fact that Barbadians have been paying the solid waste tax. When CBC contacted Revenue Commissioner Margaret Sivers, she deferred comment to the BRA's Communications Officer Erica Lazar. Ms. Lazar acknowledged some people may have been confused about the date change, but said the long lines were a testament to the fact that Barbadians have been paying the solid waste tax. However, she said the authority would work to address issues related to the waiting times for taxpayers and encourage them to use all of the outlets around the island. On July 18th, the BRA announced various changes related to the new tax. Among them, the authority also announced that the tax can be paid in installments for their convenience by December 31st, 2014. I'm Ryan Broom for CBC News.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, Barbados is playing host to the 39th Regional Conference of the Caribbean, the Americas, and the Atlantic region of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. The meeting got underway this morning at the Barbados Hilton with representatives of several Caribbean states, members of Parliament, the Senate, and the opposition in attendance. Acting Prime Minister Richard Seeley says sees the meetings, that is, as an opportunity to review pressing economic needs of member states. He believes this time around the conference is more important than before.
Persistent political and social challenges and contradictions that have to be resolved if we are going to pull ourselves out of this devastating recession and face the future with confidence and with a willingness to reach consensus peaceably.
Leader of the opposition, Mia Motley, wants parliamentarians to find a better way to engage with the population. She told the gathering there is need for urgent reform of the system across the Caribbean.
We are responsible for providing that which is necessary for the executive to govern. Money. We are responsible for the passage of laws. We create the forum within which debate and perspectives are shared. But yet, the majority of our populations do not understand what laws or think about what laws are passed until months after, when it impacts on them.
And Secretary General of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, Dr. William Shija, says the theme for the conference, Forging Ahead in a Hostile Global Environment, is timely.
It is true that we have a global hostile environment, particularly considering the political conflicts in the Middle East that are going on at the moment, and the face and the situation in the Gaza area is absolutely disheartening. There are also a range of other incidents of terrorism raging in several parts of Africa. You've heard of Boko Haram in Asia. There are economic difficulties and inequalities caused by reckless capitalism, the financial crisis that has happened over the years.
Well, 2 new monarchs were crowned at the MQI 98.1 The One Soca Royale last evening. As the results of very popular decisions by the judges, Biggie Irie now rules the Kingdom of Sweet Soca, while on the party monarch landscape, Gorg is king.
The victory ended a 28-year wait for Biggie Irie, while Gorg's win came in his 11th year in the business. 474 points allowed Biggie Irie to take the crown ahead of RPB, Sanctuary and Blood. His prizes included a Ford EcoSport, a $500 clothing voucher, $7,500 in cash and a staycation. The new Sweet Soca monarch is already eyeing next year's competition.
I want to do at least 4 songs next year, because I'm working on a catalog, so that when I travel, I can do at least an hour and 45 minutes, so that's about at least 10 songs, 10, 12 songs. So right now I have like 6 soca songs that I can perform for 45 minutes. I want to add an hour to that set.
And it was a tight finish in the party monarch as 2 points separated the first and second places. Gorg's performance of his song Miram earned him 384 points to narrowly defeat last year's winner, the group Soca Cartel.
Very happy. Thank everybody, public, NCF, judges, everybody on their decision. Happy to be here. Getting ready to definitely work on next year's stuff because it's going to be very busy, so making preparations for that already.
Mikey Blood and Crystal Cummins Beckles captured the 3rd, 4th and 5th positions respectively.
And now for your take tonight, where we hear directly from you. The question is, are you happy with the results from the Sweet Soca and Party Monarch competitions? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the answer for you at the end of the news.
Concert with community, in harmony with humanity, feeling the rhythm, hearing the rhyme, moving to the beat of the time. Goddard Enterprises giving back, proud to be giving back, caring and sharing and serving and giving back. Across the region, Goddard Enterprises giving back.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Get your sun power.
A St. Philip man has been ordered by the court to pay a total of $75,000 in fines on drug-related charges. 48-year-old Vincent Thorne of Bushy Park pleaded guilty when he appeared in the District C Magistrates Court today. He was held yesterday when police found 137 cannabis plants under cultivation at his home, along with a loose quantity of the drug on him. When he appeared in court, it was discovered that he had similar charges pending from last year. As a result, on the 2013 charges, the court ordered him to pay $20,000 in 9 months or face 3 years in prison for possession, and another $5,000 in 9 months or 3 years in prison for cultivation. Then, on the 2014 charges, Thorne was fined $50,000 in 9 months or 3 years in prison. He was convicted, reprimanded and discharged on the offences of intent to supply and cultivation, and reprimanded and discharged on the trafficking charge. Thorne has been ordered to return to court on April 8th next year to show proof that he has paid the fine. Meanwhile, the 3 other men who appeared on similar charges all pleaded guilty and have been given later dates to return to court for sentencing. In the case of Corey Toppin, he was remanded until August 6th for sentencing after police discovered 2 pounds of cannabis at his Chapel No. 7 St. Philip home yesterday. And probation reports have been ordered on Christchurch residents 30-year-old Peter Johnson Cox of Montrose and 32-year-old Paul Antonio Romero of Silver Hill. They were remanded until August 11th for sentencing. Members of the drug squad intercepted a vehicle owned by Grenadines Airlines on Saturday on the ABC highway, in which Cox and Romero, both employees of the airline, were traveling. A search of the vehicle revealed a green haversack containing 16 packages of cannabis weighing 30.5 pounds. They were charged with possession of cannabis, possession with intent to supply, trafficking and importation. In other news now, the Anglican Church will continue to encourage women to pursue the priesthood despite the opposition it faces from across Barbados. This position from Bishop of Barbados and Archbishop of the West Indies, the Most Reverend Dr. John Holder, as the church celebrated the 20th anniversary of women being ordained as priests. Bishop Holder says the ordination of Reverends Sonia Hines and Beverly Seeley 20 years ago represented a major shift in theology.
We have no right this side of heaven to decide that God cannot call women to the priesthood as he calls men. And that priesthood is somehow an exclusive exercise for men. We do not have the right to take this position.
Bishop Holder acknowledged that despite the developments in society, it is still largely a man's world, and he's challenged the men of the Anglican Church to help change that perception.
I think the church has become stronger and more effective in its ministry in many ways because of the ordination of women. And we will continue to treasure this special strength that you bring to the ministry in this church as women.
Well, there's concern about the lack of respect shown to plant quarantine division workers of the Ministry of Agriculture when conducting their duties. Deputy Permanent Secretary Dr. Lennox Chandler raised the issue, saying it has made their work harder as they try to prevent more plant pests from breaching Barbados borders.
Our officers are treated, and I'm not going to apologize for this, as second-class citizens both at the airport and the seaport in terms of accommodation and the way how they allow access into and out of the airport. When other agencies are not treated in the same way, where other agencies are treated as though they're superior to the plant quarantine section. And it's something that we have to address and address seriously. Even within our own ministry, plant quarantine has not been accorded the sort of status that I think it should be accorded.
Dr. Chandler's comments came as local agriculture officials accepted their first hard copies of a plant quarantine procedure manual for Barbados. The book, also available in electronic form, serves as a guide of best practice for officers. The Deputy Permanent Secretary also reports that the giant African snail has not been eradicated, but officials believe they've got the population under control. He says the situation is the same for the pink mealybug and explains it would be dead wrong to think otherwise.
The layman will always think that the snail has disappeared or whatever's happening. But there's no one pest that I can point to that we can say that is a distinct threat. Or even eradicated, because eradication means that you've gotten rid of every last one of something from your space. And to determine that is not easy. I mean, how do you really know that every last one of something? So I don't like to use the word eradication too loosely. I think that we've been able to control it to a very low level, but I wouldn't want to say that the pink hibiscus mealybug has been eradicated from Barbados.
Application forms for bursaries for undergraduates attending the University of the West Indies Cayfield campus will be available from tomorrow, Tuesday. These forms may be collected from the examinations section of the Ministry of Education, Science, Technology and Innovation, Elsie Plain Complex, Constitution Road, St. Michael. And they'll be available between 9:30 a.m. and 4:15 p.m. The completed forms must be returned to the ministry by Tuesday, August 12th.